if it's backup on backup, they don't have a shot. Welcome into Red Raider Recon, brought to you by Cantex Roofing. I'm Clint Scott, he's Rob Bro.
Today on the episode, we'll do 3 thoughts, the Big 12 Player of the Year, of the week, and so much more, including a look ahead to Tempe. I wouldn't eat that.
6 games into the regular season, and the Red Raiders have told the league that they are the team to beat in the conference. After beating Kansas by 25 points, they climbed to 7th in the AP Top 25 and 8th in the coaches poll. Up next is last year's conference champion. The Arizona State Sun Devils are 4-2 overall and 2-1 in conference play after a 42-10 loss at Utah. That's the highest total their defense has given up since 2023's season finale, a 59-23 loss to Arizona. Head coach Kenny Dillingham has done a great job turning around an Arizona State program that was struggling. After going 3-9 in his first season, he responded with last year's trip to the college football playoff. This week, however, much like Texas Tech, there are questions surrounding the quarterback position. Star QB Sam Leavitt didn't play last week. Instead, it was veteran Jeff Sims. He was 18 of 38 passing for 138 yards. He also had 21 rushes for 52 yards. No touchdowns, no interceptions. Leavitt's availability this week is still up in the air. Arizona State does have 2 of the top skill guys in the conference. Wideout Jordan Tyson is tied for first with 7 receiving touchdowns and second in receiving yards with 523. Running back Raleek Brown is third in the conference in rushing with 573 yards. On the rushing leaders list, Red Raider running back Cam Dickey moved to second after a monster performance. He toted the rock 21 times against the Jayhawks, finishing the night with 263 rushing yards and 2 explosive touchdown runs. He wasn't the only one who had a memorable performance. The pass rush left their mark on the game with a program best 9 sacks. David Bailey had 3, A.J. Holmes and Romello Height both had 2. Other featured matchups in the league this week pit in-state rivals against each other. TCU hosts Baylor on Saturday. The Horned Frogs are 1-2 in Big 12 play. The Bears are 2-1. Then at 7 o'clock, it is a top 25 edition of the Holy War. A still undefeated BYU team will host a Utah squad that has back-to-back blowout wins, scoring more than 40 points both times. Every weekend in the Big 12 is important, but this week's lineup could be a defining one in the conference race.
That's right, Clint. Arizona State on the horizon. Big 12 champs until they're not. Texas Tech trying to do so. If Sam Leavitt's out, how big of a difference does that make? And if this is backup on backup, who has the edge?
Well, if it's backup on backup, they don't have a shot. I'm trying not to, because we'll have some overreactions, to overreact to one game, but there was just this thought in the back of my head as Arizona State went to Utah. I was like, man, Jeff Sims has played a lot of football. He's won some games. Just that, I mean, it almost takes Jordan Tyson, their best weapon, out of the game if Jeff Sims is in at quarterback, unless there is some magical way to turn him into an efficient passer. And even then, like his best attribute in the passing game are not the type of routes that you're running with Jordan Tyson. So it almost handicaps you in a couple different ways if you're Arizona State. So, I mean, I'll get into this more, but if you see Jeff Sims, it is hopeless for the Sun Devils. And I didn't see anything against Utah that was like, yeah, okay, yeah, he could give you a little feistiness. It's a really bad offense with him in charge.
And defensively, they just didn't have the juice because I think the offense wasn't doing anything. Mm-hmm. I think we discount how big of a difference it makes for both sides of the ball to be hitting on high cylinders.
You know, Arizona State's so interesting because I've been trying to figure out this week, why have they been so good the past season and a half? And I think for the most part, outside of you now, they've been the most complete Big 12 team. And we kind of joke about complimentary football, but they really do that at a high level. And there's some games that the offense has needed to pick up the defense. There's some games the defense has needed to pick up the offense, but I wouldn't say either one has just been elite, but both units have been really good, and there's not a drop-off on either side when they're healthy. Now they're certainly not going to use this as an excuse. They're not going to be looking for pity. But if you want to look at least from the contenders in the Big 12, who has been bitten by the injury bug the most, it is the Arizona State Sun Devils. And it's past just the quarterback. I mean, just this week, you have an offensive lineman and a linebacker ruled out for the season. They've had injuries in the secondary. Their running back room has been a little dinged up. I mean, they've just been all across the board. They've been affected in some way. And so that doesn't help. But, like, they've been so good because both sides of the ball have been good. And neither one really loses you a game until last week.
And their rush defense has been good, but you kind of look at that and say, well, TCU ran for 10 yards. Mm-hmm. So how does that skew? Now, that's sack totals and everything else because they got a bunch of sacks. It was really, closer to 65 yards. But it just is maybe a little disingenuous to say that Arizona State's been a complete team this year. But, man, it feels like Iowa State and Arizona State are on danger territory right now with all the injuries they have. Dominique Orange goes out this week for Iowa State, and they lose another. Their kickers are all hurt. They had a 600-pound or 6'8", 300-pound kicker.
A 600-pound kicker.
My 600-pound kicker.
Just like, all right, get in there, Jim Bob. He's like, bruh. All right.
Goes out there. So I just it feels like those two teams who we regarded as favorites, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Are in the danger zone right now.
And what's interesting because I think Iowa State's out after this week. Arizona State isn't out. They're just out of the at-large discussion without a Big 12 title.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's the case for a handful of Big 12 teams. It's still going to be really hard.
Yeah.
But that's where they're knocked out of. And so, to me, the way the conference is shaping up, and I think this is pretty spot on with how we thought it would be coming into the year. If Arizona State does lose this week and they're at 2 losses, I mean, that's pretty much an elimination game for them. It's going to be hard for any Big 12 team, especially with not everybody playing everybody, to have 2 losses and find a way into Arlington. At least at this stage, two early-ish, halfway-ish losses. So it will be interested to see. I do think they have the feeling of our backs against the wall. So does that give them any extra juice? And the other thing too, with the Jeff Sims, Sam Levitt conversations, like, okay, well, for Sam Levitt, is it if he does go, he can go, but he's still hindered on some of the things that make him a really good Big 12 quarterback? If he loses some of his mobility, that's a huge thing, right? I mean, that's his backyard football playmaking ability, to me, is his best attribute because he's so good at it. He's done that a bunch this year. It's like he's Mr. Right play at the right time. Like, the numbers probably don't wow you, but he just goes and he wins games because of his playmaking ability. And if that's taken away just because he can go, I'm not sure how much more helpful that will be.
Ready for some thoughts?
I have got 3 of them. I don't know about you.
I also have 3. I think I went first last week. You want to go first?
Sure. I have my first thought.
First thought.
In your win over Kansas, speaking of quarterbacks, Jalen Daniels did just about everything you can ask for an opposing quarterback to do, especially with the running game just non-existent, and it still wasn't even close to enough.
Yeah.
And if I'm an opposing quarterback, that should be terrifying to me. I mean, he got sacked a bunch, yes, and he had the one play that kind of looked like Jalen Daniels from last year where he bounces it off his knee and they lose 10, 15 yards because he fumbles it the other way. But, I mean, he himself gave his offense a chance. He did some very Jalen Daniels type things and still just got crushed. I really thought that for sure that's the best quarterback performance we've seen this year against Texas Tech.
And I think that's the best quarterback you'll see
Yes.
the rest of the year.
So I just, we keep on or at least I do, like keep finding things week after week to be impressed by, which at this point is crazy because you've been so good. My second thought.
Second thought.
It kind of goes hand in hand with this. That was good. I like
I
that.
don't like that.
The second thought. The other team had the momentum in the game for the largest period of anyone all season. It's the most you've given up, not in just a half, but a quarter, and you won by 25 points. This is very first thought-esque, but just from a total team perspective, again, your margin of victory has been so impressive. And it's what's killing me about anybody that's still throwing out the like, oh yeah, but you're not in the SEC, you're not in the Big Ten. No, look at what you're doing to respectable to good teams. And then to whatever Utah ends up being. You're killing them.
Yeah.
Third thought.
Third thought.
An underrated part of not only Mac Leftwich, but also just how talented the offense is on the roster. You can form a game plan for what the other respective defense does well, and it does not matter what they do well. I mean, this week, yes, the running game has been good all year, but this week you knew that their running defense was bad, and you looked like if you had just thrown those stats down and you said, what team was this? And you looked at some of the quarterback yards and the running back yards and the passing yards, I went like, oh, what Utah game was this?
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy that your offense feels like it's built to have a good day at the office regardless of what's on the other side.
That's a beautiful thing to have.
Mm-hmm. That's why you sang.
I don't know that was beautiful per se, but it's a beautiful thing to have.
I thought it was beautiful.
Are you ready for some thoughts? My thoughts? First thought?
First thought.
Arizona just doesn't have the cards. I think they're right there, but in the game of Big 12 poker, they've got two pair, and there are teams with royal flushes, and I think BYU has at least a full house, and Arizona just doesn't have the cards to be at the top of this conference. I think they're in that second tier beyond some contenders.
Yeah.
I think they maybe are even a better team than like TCU and Baylor and Kansas State at this point. We'll see if they fully come back from their start. But I think Arizona, it could be coaching. It could just be gumption. It could be that Fafita has a low ceiling, per se. I mean, he's only 5'6", so
yeah.
I do think that Arizona is better than last year, but they just don't have the cards this year to be a contender.
It's going to be interesting to watch them the rest of the way out just from their schedule, because like at Houston, they can win that game. At Colorado, they can win that game. Home against Kansas, they can win that game. At Cincinnati, right now, it seems pretty tough. Home against Baylor, they can win that one. And then at whatever Arizona State is at the end of the year. I mean, that's still 8 wins are absolutely
for sure
on the table.
I mean, you read that schedule, they have a Baylor-esque finish to their schedule like last year. Mm-hmm. They could absolutely go on a 5-game run to end that. I don't trust them to do so.
No, I wouldn't either.
Second thought.
Second thought.
Bear is a dog.
How excited were you to say that? Be honest.
I cooked that one up this morning.
Bear is a dog. It's like the worst animal show of all time. It's like it's turned into Discovery Channel. I'm like, oh, what was that?
Zaboomafoo or whatever. I see.
Did you also think that the lemur was called a Zaboomafoo, and it took you a while to realize?
It's not the lemur's name?
No.
Oh. Yeah?
Well, I don't. No, I meant like I thought that specific type of lemur was a Zaboomafoo.
No, I don't think I ever thought that.
Yeah, me neither.
Did you see Bear when he scored with 19 seconds left? What he did to his coach?
I didn't see what he did. I just saw the play. I didn't see what he did to his coach.
He said, "Let's go for 2, coach. Let's win this right here, right now. 2." And Kalani Sitake said, "No. We're gonna take this to overtime. We'll win there." And they did in double overtime. But that's some gumption right there. Hey, let's go for 2. Let's win this right here. We have the momentum. We just came back from down 10 to tie it. Let's punch this in. They cannot stop us. I'm Bear Bachmeier. It just feels like for a true freshman, he's got a lot of juice. And as a friend of mine said, he likes the cut of his jib.
His bear jib. He feels a lot like
Tim Tebow?
Okay, sure.
What were you going to say?
Sam Levitt from last year.
Okay. You see how he runs, though? He runs like Tim Tebow.
He is I think he runs like a creative player.
Yeah.
Maybe not quite as bad where they're just like that, but he's very upright.
When it's like he covers the ball and
Yeah.
just how he's just Tebow-esque. Now, is he having his...
Mormon Tebow.
Looks like you're on a chat line over there. You're just coming off your top of your dome there. Yeah, Mormon Tebow.
I like it. He's more impressive every single week. I keep waiting for him to have a freshman quarterback type moment. Not like I'm rooting for it. It's just usually you hit a wall and he keeps on doing things that are more impressive every single week, and they just keep winning games.
His RPO accuracy and how he zips it into the slant in the post. I mean, he just could hand deliver them.
I think that I was so bought into how their quarterback situation happened that I just completely threw out that he was a 4-star recruit. Like, he wasn't just a nothing guy coming out of high school.
Yeah, well, he committed to Stanford, so nobody knows about it.
And that's the other thing that throws me off is he went to Stanford.
He's a transfer, but he was at Stanford in the spring. Like, that's when he got there. This is not he was at Stanford for a year, and then he transferred over, so it's a year and a half of college experience. He's a gray shirt, and he got to BYU this summer.
He probably shook David Bailey's hand twice, and then they both went to the Big 12.
Third thought?
Third thought.
Utah is back on track. They might have been back on track after the West Virginia game, but what credence do we give that? West Virginia stinks. It was impressive what they did to West Virginia in Morgantown. And even against an injured Arizona State, like they did exactly what they wanted to do. Dampier threw it 12 times. I keep hearing about, well, Dampier's going to start throwing interceptions. No, he's not. He was forced to throw it way too often at New Mexico State. New Mexico?
New Mexico.
And
the Lobos.
And they just he had to be Jalen Daniels at times. And he was the only offense. Not that a little bit. He had to be Superman in every game.
Well, pretty much because but they also had to throw it to keep up with the other teams they were playing, especially early on when they were playing some of the better competition that they were playing.
And they're not going to need to do that generally in the Big 12. They had to do it against Texas Tech, but I don't think they'll have to do it against anybody else. And I would not be surprised to see them walk into BYU and give the Cougars their first loss. In fact, I am almost, and they're favored in that game. I'm almost like they're going to win by 2 touchdowns against BYU. I don't know that I'm there yet, but that's kind of my feeling today.
Okay.
All right, how about some overreactions?
All right. You're going to have a top 10 pick. You're going to have another one in the first round, and you're going to have 4 through the first 2.
Okay.
It feels like you're that loaded, and you have guys that are just showing off more and more and building their draft profile. And again, this is overreaction, so that's why I put this here. But I mean, are you going to be shocked if you see within the first 2 rounds, if you saw David Bailey go in the top 10?
No.
And then if you saw Jacob Rodriguez or Romello Height go in the first round?
I would be surprised if Jacob Rodriguez was a first-round pick.
And then in the second round, a combination of the other 2 and then Lee Hunter in there. Or Skylar Gill-Howard. Or, I mean, pick anybody that's really just jumping off the page grade-wise right now. It's not just like, oh, they're super fun to watch.
Caleb Douglas.
Yeah. And then I haven't even gone to the offensive side. Like I think yes, it's an overreaction, but I also don't think like it's crazy. Like I don't think it's super far off. And then who knows with offensive linemen too.
Yeah.
Now I think higher end for them is probably going to be. We'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put more money down on that, but it's just an interesting thing to put in the mix there. It's funny that you went to Utah and BYU.
Uh-huh.
If BYU beats Utah, you're going to have college game day in Lubbock.
Yeah, and big noon kickoff.
Even if they were to lose to Iowa State the next week, and that game's in Ames, but I don't like Iowa State. Certainly right now, I don't like that Iowa State team at all. Even if so, I think you're going to take care of business, and if it's a whatever and one BYU team, that'll still be in the top 25 if that happens.
8-0 versus 8-0.
I mean, especially if they're undefeated, for sure, for sure. And so, I've looked at some of the games you're up against. I'll have to go back. I think Missouri hosting Texas A&M,
which could also be, a one-loss team versus an undefeated team.
and then you have Alabama hosting LSU. They've already been to Bama, and I say typically they don't like to go back to the same place. You do have the SEC factor in the Alabama draw, but I just think you're such an interesting story. It's like they don't want to talk about it. Really feels like they're, especially Desmond Howard. I'm on the train. It feels like he's grimacing every time he's got to talk about Texas Tech.
Yeah.
But you're such an interesting story, and you forced yourself into the national conversation. Like, I think at a certain point, it's not even throwing a bone. Like, they'll feel like they have to come out and do something with it. And so, and then my third one, I'm going to do we haven't doubled down on anything, and I'm going to do the first double down.
Okay.
For an overreaction.
Sure.
And it feels like if I'm doubling down, I shouldn't have it as an overreaction.
Yeah.
But I'm going to keep it in the same spot. I think week 3, going into Oregon State, was when I had this. Maybe week 2. You will score at least 35 points every home game and at least 30 points every road game.
Tracks?
Doubling down.
Yeah. I'm also going to double down today.
Nice! The double down. We need a double down noise.
But I'm going to start with a different one. David Bailey is winning all the awards, maybe even the Heisman. He is ridiculous. In his last 2 Big 12 games, he's got 24 pressures and 5 sacks. Do you remember who I compared David Bailey to in the edge rusher episode?
That was a long time ago.
Former Big 12 edge rusher, Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP. Doesn't wear a lot of gear.
Oh, yeah.
Von Miller.
Yeah. The Big 12 threw me off.
Von Miller's best season at A&M was his junior season in 2009. He had 47 tackles, 21 and a half tackles for loss, and 17 sacks. David Bailey currently on pace for 36 tackles, 21 tackles for loss, and 17 sacks.
Interesting. Good. Hey, good comp, man.
He also has 2 forced fumbles. Von Miller finished with 4. So he's on pace to match Von Miller's stats. Maybe not the tackle totals, but pretty close. Pretty close. All right. It's also a career high in sacks so far.
Isn't that crazy? The build-up, and it's like, hey, if you can get 7 to 8 sacks out of him this year, it's going to be a great year. And it's 8.5 through 6. It's crazy.
Here's the double down. Texas Tech's defense will not allow 20 points in any game this season. And I, before the season, said that they would not allow 18 points a game. I moved that down to 16 2 weeks ago, I think. And now that they only allowed 17 to Kansas, I think their season average, with Oklahoma State, UCF, and West Virginia still on the board, will be less than 14 points a game in Big 12 play.
No, I'm not. I'm not looking past Arizona State. I'm not looking. All right. I'm worried for Oklahoma State. I'm serious. Everybody's transferring out. I mean, it makes sense. They don't know what to do with the quarterback spot. I mean,
do you remember when Texas Tech basketball got a frat member to join because they saw him in the rec? Some frat kid sitting there about to play safety for Oklahoma State.
some shirtless guy up there is like, all right, the guy's waving up the shirt. Who's the most in shape?
Yeah. I mean, it's dire straits for Oklahoma State.
It's a good band.
And finally, Cam Dickey will hit 1,000 yards rushing. And Jacoby Williams will have 1,000 yards, total yards, in this season.
In a week, I have completely changed one of my opinions. So last week, I sat here in this here chair and said it would be really hard, as much as I think you have the best, in Overreactions, as much as I think you have the best running back room right now in the Big 12, that it would be really hard for either running back to get any sort of all Big 12 honors because they're so split.
Yeah.
You might get both of them. like legit. And it helps when you have a splash day that Dickey just had. But man, it's so impressive that, you know, they did seem like such different backs. They were like, oh, one's the scat back, one's the speed back, receiving back, and then the other one's a power back. He's going to do some Taj Brooks, maybe kind of dirty work type of stuff for you. And they both just, they can do a lot of the same things. And I think with it, Cam Dickey can just, it's crazy to think that he can outrun people the way that he does. Just because of the original perception.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And good. And I'm hoping my take last week will be dead wrong and you have changed my opinion. Not you. They did. The running backs did. Let's give out some awards. The highly esteemed Big 12 Player of the Year.
Of the week.
Would you like to go first?
I would.
Let's start on the offensive side of the ball. Hey, who do you got?
I have Texas Tech running back Cam Dickey,
Shocker.
who put together a top 5 performance in Texas Tech running back history with 21 carries, 263 yards, 12.5 per 2 touchdowns. The touchdowns averaging, 64-ish yards, 71 and 55. Pretty good. 62.5, whatever it is.
By the way, also Walter Camp, National Offensive Player of the Week, Doak Walker, Running Back of the Week, all of the things of the week. You know what's funny? You know who wasn't?
It's not just running backs.
No, the
Doak Walker is the Tyler Rose Award. No, Walter Campbell's the Tyler Rose Award.
Yeah.
You're right.
He's getting National Offensive Player of the Week, National Position of the Week.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say this. Dear Big 12, you don't have to do a co-offensive player of the week every single week, especially when there is one that's so obvious and smacking you in the face. I got a little bit triggered when I saw that it was him and L.J. Martin.
Yeah.
And L.J. Martin had a great game.
Not that.
But he didn't have that.
No.
I mean, if that were the case, you would have co-Doak Walker running backs of the week and co-Walter Camp offensive player of the week. So you don't have to do it every single week.
Yeah. Your offensive player? Is it Cam Dickey?
I would.
So our co-offensive player.
If you want me, I'll do that.
I'm kidding.
Don't you do that.
So the offensive player
your co-offensive player of the year of the week. Now I don't want to do it.
No, it's Clint Scott's player of the year of the week.
All right, this is the second place finisher. This is the silver medal.
It's that gotcha journalism. I gotcha.
Yeah, Devin Dampier.
Yeah. Great game.
I really what I should have done is followed suit with Beef of the Week and given Offensive Player of the Week to Utah's offensive line.
Yes.
Because the entire running game was dominant. But, I mean, Devin Dampier, you already said this, but I was so impressed that you go 7 for 12 passing because that's all that you needed to do. And he was really efficient doing it, 104, but 10 carries, 120 yards. If you're doing quick math, it's 12 yards per carry, and then 3 scores on the ground. He was doing anything and everything that he wanted, and they were doing anything and everything that they wanted against Arizona State.
Yeah.
So your second place finisher this week for Big 12 Player of the Year of the Week, Devin Dampier, the silver medalist.
You're going to love this, but I need you to go first on the defense.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, do you disagree, though?
No, I think you're right, but just wait for it. Just wait for it.
I got to take the obvious one over here. David Bailey. We already talked about the 8.5 sacks this season. That's tied for the FBS lead. 3 come on Saturday. Also forced a fumble. Also recovered a fumble there in the first quarter. He was a high draft grade guy coming over here. That's why we were all excited about it. And was already a productive guy. But I think over the last 3 weeks, he's made himself a lot of money. A lot of year one money for the league. I mean, and what continues to blow my mind, too, is like Jalen Daniels. This can go for the entire defensive front. Jalen Daniels is arguably the most athletic and quick, twitchy quarterback you'll see all year.
Sure.
And you were beating him to spots.
Yeah.
And it just does not happen.
Yeah.
At least to the consistent rate that it was on Saturday. So, yeah. Congrats to Bailey for winning the obvious Defensive Player of the Week.
All right. For the rest of the Defensive Players of the Week of the year, the rest of the Texas Tech front. Jacob Rodriguez had 14 tackles, a sack, and a tackle and a half for loss. Romello Height had 6 tackles, 2 sacks, and 2 tackles for laughs. AJ Holmes had 4 tackles, 2 sacks, and 2.5 tackles for loss. Lee Hunters and Charles Esters both had half a sack and 2 tackles. And Terrell Tillman had a sack. And when Terrell Tillman got a sack late in the game, I saw a Kansas Twitter user say, "They have more?" Mm-hmm. Number 18, who is that? Another one? So I just wanted to shout out the defensive front, because 9 sacks is a school record, nothing to be pushed back and needs to be on the forefront.
Like I said, you don't always need a co. I didn't say anything about a co.
Okay. Let's turn the page. Never mind. You have a question about Cam Dickey?
Yes, I do.
Let's go back to that, Will.
Just real quick. In the Joey McGuire era, was that the best individual performance that we've seen?
Offensively, off the top of my head, the 2 long touchdowns plus everything else he did. It's not like he had 2 long touchdowns, and that was 120 yards, right? Mm-hmm. So he had on 18 carries, still had 140 yards. Still good, right? That's still really good. So he was really impressive from get to finish. Now, I'm trying to think. There's probably a few Taj Brooks games that rival that. But in the Joey McGuire era, like Donovan Smith against Texas.
Okay, so I wrote a list of these down.
Okay, well, give me your list.
Okay, so I was trying to think of ones just to put them in the conversation.
Yeah.
And I think inadvertently put these kind of in least arguable to maybe most arguable. Like Shuck's 400-yard passing day, double overtime against Oklahoma. Was
he was just so bad for a quarter.
Yes, it wasn't clean. That's why it's
second half was.
That's why it's towards the bottom of this list. But in my opinion, what you had just said, the best quarterback day that you've seen under Joey McGuire, when you put in the weight of the team, it was that you were playing against Donovan Smith against Texas. 373 total yards, 3 touchdowns. That's the best quarterback one. To me, Taj Brooks' best game, I think it was his last one. And maybe just because it was so special, but it was his highest total with 188, and then he had, he pushed... He got to 223 because he had a couple of receptions in there as well. 3 touchdowns. Obviously a special day with everything that was in tow. But I put that down as his best day. He had a really, really good one against UCF. I'm forgetting that stat line. Yeah. But because he had a couple 170, 180 days, but the 188 was the highest, at least just through the ground. And so he was just so consistent at that level, and obviously was your bell cow. But I think Dickey's day was better.
Agreed.
And then you go, okay, well, what about the defense? And this is where I think it's an interesting conversation, because Jacob Rodriguez specifically has given you some special performances. Last year, Arizona was special. His best statistical day was in the loss to Colorado. So even though that was a loss, 17 tackles, 13 of them were solo. Had a sack in there as well. And then this year against Utah, I think, was his absolute best when you put in the couple of turnovers with the 11 tackles. Special. But I think it was. I think that was the best individual performance under Joey McGuire we've seen.
Yeah, probably so. Barron has several big passing days. Mm-hmm. West Virginia in his first season as a starter. That Oklahoma State game that he lost, but still his debut, his starting debut. Will Hammond certainly special in the second half against Utah. But yeah, full games, offensive players. I wouldn't argue that much.
Let us know what you think in the comments below. We're also, before we move on to Arizona State, we appreciate everybody that has been tuning into Red Raider Recon and all of our Double T 97.3 podcasts, but we have some daily podcast news.
Yeah, those will be moving to a new YouTube channel here soon. Double T Sports Network On Demand. So you won't have to scroll through quite as many videos on this YouTube channel, Double T Sports Network. So you'll have everything, the podcasts, the clips from the shows, anything video-based, and then the audio-based podcasts will move over to Double T Sports Network On Demand. And you can find those same place. If you listen to them on Spotify or Apple, those will stick right where they are. But if you are watching those on YouTube, they'll flip to that new format.
But you can stay right here.
Yeah, subscribe to both.
Recon.
Subscribe to both.
Yeah. Arizona State. Let's start with the quarterbacks.
Okay.
Saturday. Who do you think? I mean, we're not insiders, shocker here. But who do you think will be in on both sides? It is interesting that you've got opposing starting quarterbacks who are both day to day, and not interesting in a good way.
I think Sam Leavitt will sacrifice a kidney to play in this game. I think he's going. I think on the other side, you're looking at long-term as opposed to short-term for Texas Tech. So I do think that Baron Morton will get a game or two because of who you have next, so he can be healthy against Kansas State. So I will say it will be Sam Leavitt versus Will Hammond as the starting quarterbacks.
It's always like, oh, it's good to be different with your opinions if you're going to be interesting. I don't differ in that at all. And to be honest, I was, and this is good for, by the way, for Skylar Gill Howard too. Maybe the best news out of that, just because when you're leaving on a cart, it's like, well, he's done for the year, right?
Yeah.
So that's awesome news for him. But for Morton, my first reactionary thought was we're not going to see him for at least 2 weeks.
Right.
Especially since it's the same leg, the same exact injury that happened earlier in the season. So it is good news to have it more day to day because I didn't think it would be listed as that. But I'm with you. I think this is where it goes back to the Morton or Hammond conversation. No, like when we're saying really feel good about either, like it's not just putting fluff for the backup or anything. So I am interested if that does end up being the case, just like everybody is, because it's going to be Hammond's first Big 12 start. It's going to be his first regular season start. How does he do it? How does he handle the week-long preparation? How does he handle knowing it and then going on the road too? I don't think Arizona State's just like an easy place to walk in and win.
Yeah. Well, here's an interesting bit to that. Baron Morton, for a full season, didn't practice and then just came out and played. So I would assume that Will Hammond, even if Baron Morton starts on Saturday, is going to be the most prepared quarterback that he can be because he will take a majority of the reps this week, if not all of them. I'm sure Mitch Griffiths will also take reps because you're trying to get two guys ready because if Baron Morton is unavailable, you're now, a play away from Mitch Griffiths. So I think both of those guys will get plenty of reps. Certainly with the ones, Will Hammond will get the lion's share. So I do think that you're more equipped to play well with your backup than they are with theirs because I think there's a large disparity between Sam Leavitt and Jeff Sims. I don't think there's as much of a disparity, but I do think there is some disparity in that Baron Morton just has so much more experience. And this is a big moment. If Will Hammond is the guy, it's a big moment for him because this is the defending champion of this league. This is a quality coaching staff over there that can scheme well. This is an outfit that has had some success against other teams. So,
and I think Dillingham's a good bulletin board material guy.
Yeah.
And 100% they're going to go like,
this is their Super Bowl.
Hey, the teams that beat us last year, do you remember last year?
Yeah, this is their Super Bowl. So I think they are more injured than you are, obviously, starter-wise. I think the news you're talking about with Skylar Howard, that it's not season-ending, basically. We have no timetable, but I guess technically he's day-to-day in that respect.
Again, it just shows how deep you are because A.J. Holmes has had a good year and just was like, all right, you're getting more reps here.
Well, and he didn't even really get more reps per se. He just got the starters reps.
It shifted where the reps were.
He's playing with new people.
Yeah.
Because he and Lee Hunter have basically the same amount of reps this year.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. It's awesome that you can do that. And so really what it affects is not A.J. Holmes so much, but Duda Banks. Because now he's the second guy in that spot, or, Jaden Cofield or whoever else that you're having to rely upon. But that's a guy who's played Big 12 games. So I'm not really worried about the defensive line, especially with some of their offensive line injuries. I think it's going to be, if I was in charge, I would like to go down there with Baron Morton, traveling and suited up, and basically have him as the backup. And say, hey, this is Will Hammond's game. We're going to give Will Hammond the shot. We trust you implicitly, Baron Morton. You are our guy. You're going to be the guy. But you're probably not playing next week either, because why in the world would we do that if we don't need to? And we're going to have you healthy and ready for Kansas State.
I think he's more than mature enough to handle that, because you're coming at that with the angle of, hey, we're doing this because we have bigger goals than just we're not doing what in their boat, where like you said, Levitt's, did you say sacrificing a kidney?
Right.
They need to win this, and we need to win this. We can win it, without you. I don't think they can win it without Sam Leavitt. And even then, it's going to be a tall task. And that's where I go, like, for them, what is the best case scenario in the quarterback talk for Arizona State? Well, the worst one, obviously, is Jeff Sims is in there in any way. I'm sorry to Jeff Sims and his loved ones. I don't think it'll go well. I think it'll go worse than Utah. If it's the best thing from the quarterback, I don't know, kind of recipe there. It's you have a Will Hammond come in and look like a redshirt freshman, and they don't blow you out, but they give you a chance because he's making some. And I think that happening, like if it's Jeff Sims, there's one outcome. If it's Will Hammond, there's like 5 outcomes and 4 of them are in your favor.
Yeah.
And I would trust the other 4 outcomes in your favor.
I did this on the end of the bench earlier. It's similar to what you just did. Jeff Sims versus Will Hammond, you have the edge.
Mm-hmm.
Injured Sam Levitt versus Will Hammond, you have the edge. Injured Sam Levitt versus injured Baron Morton, you have the edge. Injured Baron Morton versus Jeff Sims, you have the edge.
Yeah, because that's the other part.
Maybe
Levitt has to be 100% in that too.
Maybe it's Sam Levitt has the edge over Will Hammond just based on experience, but it really does feel like he needs to come out and be, 95%, because he's quicker mentally than Jeff Sims to make those decisions. He's run the offense. He runs it smoother. But Romello Height and David Bailey average get to the quarterback in 2.9 seconds.
Yeah.
That's on average 2.9 seconds.
What has their best offense been when you've watched Arizona State?
The magic.
The magic.
Him getting loose and him in telepathically conversating with Jordan Tyson and him finding a hole or getting the dig in and getting a long play out of that.
And if it's magic, your defense has been the guy in the crowd the whole time that was a former magician, just like, the rabbit was already in the hat. Yeah. Just like, you're ruining it. And so you just have a defense that does not allow magic. And if you look at the way that you handled the creatability from Jalen Daniels for Sam Levitt, who I don't think is as good at it. I mean, as far as like the rush lane discussion and stuff like that, you're doing a lot of the same things you were last week. Now they have a better receiver, but I also think Kansas's receiving room was way more balanced. I mean, it is Jordan Tyson in the passing game, and it's not being like, oh, it's the only name you know. Oh, like Moyer, or at the tight end spot, is a viable option, but you have just completely dismantled tight ends. And even then, if you're going down the list of who you have seen tight end wise to now, he might be not the worst on the list, but when you don't have another guy, like at least for Kansas, like Grown and Brune, they're not quite high-end tight ends yet. They're solid, but they've got a couple of them. They also know how to draw things up for them. Yeah. It's just such a big drop-off that if you can just just not let Tyson have a career day, in that respect, you're going to be fine. Raleek Brown at the running back spot has been the highlight of the season, at least from a surprise standpoint to me, for the Sun Devils. But I'm expecting a day like he had against Utah where it was 60-ish yards, and you just control the game the whole time.
Shieldwood was asked to grade his defense this week in the presser. He said, B. There's a lot of things we can do better. Mm-hmm. And then somebody asked, hey, against Oregon State and against Kansas, they kind of had a bunch of success underneath against you. And he said, I don't care. Yeah, that's what we want. That's we don't care. We do not care. Mm-hmm. If Jordan Tyson wants to catch 5-yard smashes and get tackled after 7 yards all the way down the field, you're going to allow that because he's not catching 70-yard passes.
Yeah.
If Mateer, the tight end, if he wants to catch 4-yard outs or smash routes on the outside, and if they want to dink you and dunk you all the way down the field, you'll make the play when you need to. Mm-hmm. They are purposefully allowing open guys underneath because it's way better than accidentally allowing open guys over the top. So it feels like to me that there are certainly teams, I wonder if they can hear that. There are certainly teams, right, where they're going to match up fairly well with Texas Tech offensively and defensively. I think BYU is actually one of those teams. And I thought going into it, Utah was too, and they were for the most part. Arizona State just does not seem like they have a good matchup because you have at least one corner who can cover Jordan Tyson, and you have safeties, and you're good enough elsewhere in the run game and otherwise that you can bracket and double Jordan Tyson for the entire game and say, please, everyone else, try and beat us. And I don't know that every defense in the Big 12 can do that, and that's why Jordan Tyson sees a lot of success. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Jordan Tyson still get 100 yards against you. But it's like the only 100 yards they get. I don't see them having a 400-yard day if Jordan Tyson only gets 100. I think if they do that, if they have a ridiculous day offensively, and I don't expect them to, Jordan Tyson goes Megatron and has 250 yards against you.
I mean, they have Leavitt has 8 passing touchdowns. He's got 7 of them. Mateer has the other one, but even then he's at 160 for the season because most of it's, like you're saying, is short. I mean, of 117 catches throughout the team, 47 have gone to Tyson.
Yeah.
That is a ridiculous number. And then the third, if you're looking at third, it's Raleek Brown, the running back. So you're going wide receiver, and then there's the next option at tight end. Then there's the next option at running back. There's just the receivers past Tyson are almost non-existent. And I just don't think, on the other hand, that they're quite good enough to be like, yeah, that's exactly what we want Texas Tech to think. You know, we don't want them to know about Eusebio or McClain, right? We've been saving them. We're gonna catch them off guard here. Everybody thinks, everybody in the building knows that the first pass is going to Tyson, maybe Mateer, but we're gonna that's just not what they do. And for some reason, even if that were the case, your one-on-one matchups and coverage are, I don't know, more than good enough to not allow big plays behind you. And what they want to do is they want to set up the run. And as good as your pass rush has been, your stop rate's been the best in the country, but your run defense is like, it's not the flashy thing. Right? If you go passing offense, rushing offense, pass defense, because that's where your pass rush is, obviously, and then run defense, that's like fourth on what everybody likes to talk about. But to me, it's not talked about enough because you don't get in those pressure situations if they're not just running into stone walls every single week. And that's where I agree with you. I think that this is a really bad matchup on paper for Arizona State.
Arizona State has 17 total touchdowns this year. 13 are either Jordan Tyson catch or Leavitt scramble. And how good is he going to be in the run game if it was an ankle or foot or whatever else that he was wearing a boot for?
Right.
And have you seen allegedly he was playing basketball?
I have enjoyed the whole, like, is he really hurt? And even...
Yeah, Kenny Dillingham in his press conference yesterday was saying, it's not gamesmanship.
Like, we're making people uncomfortable because we're being so honest.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the speculation all last week if he was just going to randomly show up and do what the USC running back did and
you remember when Bobby Boucher came out of the... Yeah. All right. I'm taking Texas Tech to beat Arizona State 31... Man, I think I said 17, but I just don't think they're going to get there. 31-14. 31-13. 31-10. I think it's going to be 31-10. That's my final answer.
Was the 31, was that your first score? Like,
that's where I think it's going to be a slower, weird game. It's going to be mid-afternoon in Tempe. Yeah. It's going to be hot. 31-10.
Because this week, last week was the first time I've undershot your score.
Yeah.
I said 38 points, and that was, well, I mean, it's still close in the ballpark, right? But still. This week, I was like, well, I'm not doing that again. And I got caught up with what I saw with Utah last week, and I was like, "There's no way you're not in the 40s." And I started out, I was like 48 to.
Yeah.
I've talked myself back to, just because of the weirdness of the quarterback, still a higher score, but I've got it 38-13. And I'm with you. I was like, I'm not. I had to talk Arizona State up,
Yeah.
just on the off chance that you do have either a healthy Levitt or Jordan Tyson makes a couple of plays for you,
Yeah.
or for them. So I'm going to stick with 38-13.
Are you ready for a whip around?
Whoosh!
Just letting you get that out.
Thank you. It's very kind of you.
You're welcome.
This week, the headliner. At the start of the season, this was going to be you and Arizona State. But with all the extra stuff, it has to be the Holy War, right?
Yeah, and I think even before this season, we expected both those teams to be big-time players. And no?
Not from BYU. I thought they were going to be a mess this year.
Really?
Yeah. I thought they'd be a bowl team, but I did not have them at 6-0. I didn't think they'd be in the top 25.
Certainly not 6-0, but I think the Holy War aspect always makes it a little...
I thought it would be an important game. I didn't think it would be a combined 11-1 record.
I can tell you exactly what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be 5-1 versus 5-1.
Okay. Wow, you were way off. You suck.
One game off.
I was so confused of BYU's quarterback situation. I thought it was going to hold him back.
Now, to be fair, I have BYU losing 4 of the next 6.
All right.
Not now, but that's what I thought before the season.
Yeah. Yeah, still, just saying top 25 and...
Yeah.
Again, this works...
Actually, you know what? BYU has to win this game. They go to Texas Tech and Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
You said that earlier. I agree.
I think...
Just doubling down.
I think whoever... It's not an elimination game for BYU until those other games are played. It just feels like the way that I predict how they will finish their season. If they do lose this game, they don't have a shot to make to Arlington. It actually is one for Utah because they already have a Big 12 loss. Going back to my little 2-loss rule at this point. But, I mean, you add in the rivalry aspect. I really don't know what's going to happen in this game. I would be shocked if either one won with a blowout. And if you said that did happen, I think I'm with you. I might take the road team. But even then, I think this is going to be a close game. I
agree.
Do think BYU is gonna win it at home.
Okay, well, I'll take the opposite side.
Let's go, Kalani. Prove me right.
And I think a blowout, again, as I said earlier, would be 14.
Sure.
I don't think anybody's going to win by more than 14.
Yeah. We usually don't do scores for these games, but if you had a quick score for this one.
Let's go crazy. You ready to get crazy?
Let's get crazy. Let's go wild.
17-13. 70-65.
When you
17-13.
I thought you were, when you said crazy, it was like, no one's reaching the 60s.
When I said let's go crazy, I was thinking, let's play this game in the 40s. But then I was like, well, really, in today's college football in the Big 12, it's more crazy that these two teams would have like a slugging match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I think BYU 24-20.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. All right, you ready for a rapid fire gut reaction Big 12 whip round?
Yes.
Arizona at Houston. Houston minus 1.5.
I think Arizona's going to win that game.
I agree. Baylor at TCU. The rivalry Blue Bonnet
Do
battle.
not call it the Blue Bonnet Battle and your little stupid arts and crafts trophy you made with it. You had it awesome with the rivalry. It was a great name.
TCU minus 2.5.
I'm going to take TCU in this one.
I'll take Baylor.
Okay.
West Virginia at UCF. UCF minus 7.5.
UCF by 20 points.
I think UCF will cover. I'm not prepared to say that.
I think West Virginia's really bad.
And then finally, Cincinnati and Oklahoma State minus 22.5. The shirts will be off in Stillwater.
Cincinnati covers.
Yeah, and maybe by, like, you might look back and say, Oklahoma State covers and loses by 21.
Remember when we said that, Meacham in that first game against Baylor felt like he emptied the bag?
Yeah.
They keep on finding trick plays early.
Yeah.
It's very funny. It cracked me up that that's how they started against Houston. And then it worked.
Right.
It's like, hey, defense, hey, just don't fall for any tricky stuff against Oklahoma State, all right?
Yeah, stay home.
Ah, man. Let's go to the fan question of the week.
Let's go.
Let's go. You can also drop a question of the week under the comments below. My Twitter, Rob's Twitter, Double T973's Twitter. And, if you go seek any of those out, why not follow them? Heck, subscribe to the YouTube page. You ready to do some math?
Yes.
How many Red Raiders will be on the all Big 12 first team? I might change. Can I add the second team to this
No.
Dexter's question? Just
No.
the first team?
We'll do it again.
Okay.
First team, all Big 12.
First team, all Big 12.
I think you have two on offense. I think it'll be a running back, tight end, offensive lineman situation. Two of those three.
Okay.
Second team, you might get a wide receiver on there. But I would be like 4 on the first and second teams offensively. Is that track? David Bailey and John Henry Daly will be the first 2 edges on the All Big 12 first team. Romello Height will be a second team All Big 12 player. So there's 1 Red Raider. Lee Hunter will be first team All Big 12, especially with Dominic Orange out. Jacob Rodriguez will be All Big 12, though I think David Bailey potentially is the player of the year. And someone else.
I think Bryce Pollock,
So
especially if he
That's
keeps up
7.
if he
I
gets,
think you'll have 7 first team All Big 12 players.
if he gets, I mean, you would lock it in right now. Again, if you were doing this award today, you would lock it in right now as a defensive back. If he gets 1, maybe 2 more interceptions,
Yeah.
no way he's not.
Right.
So what was your final number?
7.
7?
7 first teamers.
7 first teamers.
2 defensive linemen, a linebacker, a secondary player, and 3 of running back, tight end, offensive linemen. 2 of those.
I think before I changed my mind on
That's 6.
on the running back. There we go. I was like,
That's 6.
what?
Yeah. 6.
I think before I changed my mind on the running back spot, I would have told you 5, but with the change, I'm with you. Yeah, I'll agree. So okay, if it's 6 for first team,
Yeah, probably 4 more second team. I think 10 total. And then
it feels about
10
right.
more honorable mentions.
And what's crazy is just I'm trying to think
There's
back.
16 teams.
I'm
then.
trying to think about and again, there's less teams, to what
Yeah.
you're about to say, but the level of dominant, like when Oklahoma was running through the league there,
Yeah.
like how many and I really off the top of my head, I can't remember, I'll have to go look this up maybe for next week, but like how many were they averaging when they were head and shoulders above everybody else?
When
you know?
I'm looking at Utah, and voters will vote, well, it's the coaches will vote for those 2 tackles. Right. Mm-hmm. I think they'll vote Price Sawyer Robertson right now as the quarterback, depending on how they finish. You want another overreaction, a bonus overreaction? Baylor might finish 2-5 in their last 7. Or 2-4 in their last 6.
Well, the defense alone is
Yeah.
just take the matchups out of it. The defense alone has been so bad.
Yeah.
It's Excuse me.
And then I think you have some quality running backs, but I think one of your running backs certainly has the opportunity. I think there are a bunch of tight ends in the league, but I think Terrence Carter absolutely has an opportunity. And I think suddenly your offensive line's getting way better. In the last few weeks, they've played way better.
That's something we didn't say today. That, I mean, we talked about it last week, but I thought you took another step forward again. And by the way, some of the mental penalties, some of the make you scream at the house penalties, they weren't there.
Yeah. Instead, it was tortilla penalties.
Seems like a good spot to end. That was a good fake flinch.
That was a real flinch.
On the way out, you have a tortilla. I'll give you 3 fillings, 3 things to put inside. What goes in there?
In the same tortilla? Barbacoa, cilantro, and red onion.
Ooh, you did the street taco version. Bean, cheese, sour cream. Ask me again tomorrow and that'll change.
Put anything in a tortilla and I'll eat it.
Back with more Red Raider Recon next week. See you next Wednesday.